7:35. It is great to have you here on KCMO Talk Radio. So I love my man, Tony's Kansas City. I've been trying to get him in here for a Feature Friday segment, but he's helping out a family member who's dealing with some health issues right now, so he can't make it. You know, he's my favorite blogger in Kansas City. Tony'sKansasCity.com. Does an awesome job. But just like we swing and miss on segments once in a while, you know, Tony swings and misses on a blog once in a while. It happens. And I saw this one last night, and I was like, I thought it was parody at first. I thought it was a joke. I was like, Tony, you got to be kidding me, man. Come on, brother. You know you didn't go down this road, did you? So here he writes about Kansas City radio. And, you know, there's been some shakeup. We've talked about it on the air. Johnny Dare got blown out at another radio station in town. And it was a totally dumb decision by that company. But it was one that was motivated entirely by money. That's it. Don't overcomplicate this. It was a bad decision on their part. I want quality radio in Kansas City because it's good for the entire medium and the entire industry. The better off the industry is, the more likely people are to be on the radio and find us. And then hopefully we want to beat the best of the best. And, you know, we've gotten to the point where we're doing that a lot of months and a lot of quarters, but we want to be right up there. We want to compete with the best of the best. And unfortunately, we lost that when Johnny Dare was taken off the radio by his company here in the last few weeks. So they replaced him with this other guy. And they put on this guy Laszlo there. And Tony's Kansas City writes this story. In all of Kansas City local radio, only Laszlo has the ability to deep dive into partisan politics and utilize his team to parody and brutally mock conservatives. This reason alone is why Laszlo is far more likely to compete for that sweet progressive funding that will soon be distributed for the midterm election season. Tony writes here that Laszlo is more likely to be the next liberal Joe Rogan, funded by epic Democratic Party cash. Please don't overthink this. It was about saving money. That's it. This is not about, the guy talks like he's got cotton balls in his mouth, and not like one or two, like he's got a dozen cotton balls in his mouth. He can't even speak English, for crying out loud. And now we got Tony telling me that he's going to be the next liberal Joe Rogan? What planet are you living on, Tony? My goodness.
Kind of like the grandson of Marlon Brando as the Godfather.
Yes. Tony, you're smarter than this, man. Just, don't overthink it. Trust me, nobody is out there getting ready for the 2026 midterm elections and being like, well, I didn't know where I was going to spend my money, but now that I got Cotton Ball Laszlo mouth there on the rock, I'm just dumping a ton of dough into that radio station. No, that is not what's going to happen. I promise you.
I'm just shocked he can get up for a morning show, honestly. I've known the guy a little bit, so yeah.
Spoken as someone who's been in the know.
Yeah.
And Mark used to have to drag his ex out of bed to show up for work in the mornings. So that's a true story, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, Mark, that's why you've been here about 4 years now. And knock on wood, you've never had to wake me up, buddy.
Yeah.
You show up, I show up, John shows up, and we let it rip for 4 hours. That's what we do. No one's going to wake anybody up around here. In fact, Mark's dropped me off after a snowstorm when I couldn't get to the office.
That's true. I could write a book about my former radio station, but I don't think I will right now.
Hey, I'll just say, you could. But if you wrote a book about this radio station, listen, we got a much more professional operation here. We all show up to work on time. What a novel concept. So Tony writes here, a group of liberal operatives met in Washington after the election, decided to come up with a for-profit media company, and they're trying to figure out how to create conservative podcasters and talk radio voices, or liberal talk radio voices and liberal podcasters, to compete with what would be more traditional right of center, whatever you want to call it, talk radio and podcasting. That's obviously wildly popular. You can't fabricate this stuff, right? I don't come on the show and get sent talking points by somebody, whether it's Trump or the RNC or I don't do that. You know what my worldview is. I come on here, and usually I'm going to agree with a lot of people that many of us voted for. Sometimes I'll disagree, but there's no agenda. It's like every day I've got a blank canvas, and I try to weave in the top local stories with some national, have some fun, keep it light, and that's kind of it. And we try to blend it all together. But there's no, top-down operational structure that we're getting from some overlord on what we need to be talking about here. That's not how it works. And it's not going to work on the other side either if they try that model. I promise you, nobody is sitting there saying, well, we didn't know how we were going to spend money in the midterms, but now we got this guy on the air, so woo, boy, we're dumping the big dough into that show. Please. Especially when it's bombing out in a few months. There's no way.
I was going to say, I could see him more dropping out of doing morning show and just going to podcasting, but not to the Joe Rogan level.
No, are you kidding me? I got to know and understand what he's saying first. My gosh. Come on, Tony. I love you, brother, but no, please. Last night, we were out at Dayton Moore's event for See You in the Major Leagues, his outstanding organization that really mentors and teaches young people how to become leaders in their community. So we each got paired up, and there was a bunch of media folks there in TV and radio around Kansas City, some former Royals players and Keatsman's buddy Stan Weber as well. So just, different people, different backgrounds. And we each got paired up with one of their mentees. So I got this young man, 16 years old from KCK. He's a rising senior. He is the first person in his family born in the United States. Parents came here from Mexico over 20 years ago. He's got two older brothers. They were born in Mexico. So he was the first person born in this country in his family. And what a great young man. And just mature as could be, put himself out there. We're going around Topgolf and just kind of meeting some of the people, shaking hands. And he was just, he's got his whole life planned out. He's got one more year of high school, wants to go to University of Chicago. And I'm like, whoa, that's a high bar, buddy. That's like a 5% acceptance rate. And I said, just don't go into student loan debt. I told him all about Dave Ramsey. Told him to get on the Dave Ramsey train. Don't be stupid, because then he wants to go to law school. So I'm like, hey, man, if you got to do anything on the debt front, save a little bit for law school. Do not go into debt for undergrad when you want to go to law school. Don't do it anyway, but definitely don't do it if you want to go to law school. So he was like, oh, who's this Dave Ramsey guy? And he was kind of asking me all these questions. So then we're at Topgolf. And remember, Dayton was telling us last week about the hole-in-one contest, right? So I didn't get it to do the hole-in-one contest because I couldn't find any lefty clubs by the hole-in-one contest. So I was like, discrimination! This is discrimination. Now I know how it feels. But then there was a bay that we went up to at Topgolf where we had some KCMO Talk Radio listeners who wanted to say hello. So I bring up this young man, and he's like, do you play golf? I said, yeah, I've played since I was a kid, but I don't know when I picked up a golf club last. I think it probably was last September, maybe. It might have been last summer. I don't remember. I have not picked up a golf club this year. And I said, do you play golf? And he says, I've swung a golf club once or twice. So I'm showing him and teaching him how to put together his golf club grip. And he had no idea what he was doing. God bless him. So he swings and he misses the first time and he doesn't know what to do. So I said, just go again. You'll be fine. He kind of hits it off the tee and it goes 10 yards and whatever. It's fine. So I get up there and I was like, yeah, I played golf a lot in my life, but I'm not good at it. So I get up there. I find a lefty club at this bay and I pull out an 8-iron. And, the ball's on the mat there and take a practice swing. Once again, I don't think I've swung a club in 6 months, at least, probably more. And I'm telling you, man, I just freaking striped this thing. 8-iron, 155, 160 yards. Flush it. I haven't hit a golf ball that well in years. If I hit it like that more often, I'd play more golf. And, he looks at me like I'm Tiger Woods on the 18th hole at Augusta doing the club twirl and about to win the Masters. He was just blown away. I was like, dude, trust me. I don't do this often. I'm not BSing you when I say I don't play a lot of golf. He literally looked at me, and I was like, holy cow. I have never seen someone look at me like that after swinging a golf club. That was unbelievable.
Going back to our conversation yesterday about top feelings for men. How about when you struck that thing, right?
Yeah.
Feel like, well, he got on that one.
Yeah, literally.
The ting of the ball.
Yes. I told you guys yesterday, we were talking about the top 5 feelings for men, and I said, hey, I can't say I know the feeling of shooting in the low 80s because I've never done it. But if I hit a perfect 7-iron from 160 out and you get it to within, for me, let's say 10 feet of the hole, like that's right up there. And I do it yesterday, and I'm telling you, if I put the little Tiger twirl on that golf club, this guy would have thought I was, Tiger freaking Woods out there. I mean, it was crazy. I was thinking about Tiger's twirl at, I think it was the 2009 President's Cup. And he had another one at the 2011 Masters on the 15th hole when he starts walking and twirling the club before the ball even hits the green. That's what it felt like. But it was a great event and outstanding organization. See you in the major leagues, led by Dayton Moore. And I was trying to, get a little insight into whether or not he's running for governor of Kansas, but he didn't give me anything good to pass on. He's still thinking about it.